Okay, so now that I have all the codex page and I have updated all the damn thing, I will say some words with my friend
Leonardo!
Ezio,
Leonardo.
so good to see you. How can I help you? Haha! You found another one! How exciting! I see. If I just rearrange these letters... Here, it's done.
Codex pages duplicated. 15 codex pages. So maybe now we'll be able to understand what that means. Thanks Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo is gone. So now let's see. Uncle, aunties. These are displayed. Okay, Mario, uncle, please don't give me any puzzles. Alright? I have traveled a lot way to finding that 30 pages. Okay, let's talk.
Ezio!
It is time, Uncle. Let us finish what you and my father started all those years ago.
Indeed. Perhaps now we can finally make sense of this prophecy, and put a stop to whatever it is the Spaniard is plotting.
We should start by locating the vault. The codex pages will lead us to it. Let's take a look.
Yes. What is this? Ah, come on. Oh. Now what? Please don't tell me this is going to be a puzzle. Oh, hell no. Page 1. I have spent days with this artifact now, or has it been weeks, months? I can no longer be certain. The others come from the time to time, offering food and distractions, food or distraction. They say I should just separate myself from those studies. Malik has even suggested I abandon them entirely, but I am not yet ready to turn away. This apple of Eden will be understood. It must be. Is it a weapon? Is it a catalog? Is it something, somehow both? He would increase knowledge. I increased sorrow. The philosophy of such a statement I can understand, but for it to be true, literally true, a society that wasted war with ideas and information in the place of steel and swords in functions is simple, elementary, even dominance control, but the process, the methods, the means is employs. Those are fascinating. Those suggested to you its glow are promised all that they desire. It asks only one thing in return: complete and total obedience, and who can truly refuse? It is temptation incarnate. I remember my own moment of weakness when conflicted by Al-Mualim. Was my confidence shaken by this his words? He who had been like a father was now revealed to be my greatest enemy. Just the briefest flicker of doubt was all he needed to creep into my mind, but I vanquished his phantoms, restored my self-confidence, and set him from this world. I freed myself, but now I wonder, did I really? For here I see desperate to understand what which I swear to destroy. This is why the apple has a tale to tell. I sense the flickers of something great and dangerous. We are all at risk. It is my duty to do something about it. I cannot run away until I have found the truth. Okay. Eagle vision. Read. Whatever this. No data. Okay. Why can't I zoom it? I'm pressing E. Anyway, that was a cryptic thing. Okay, this is the full. That follows are the three great ironies of the Assassin's Order 1. Here we speak to promote speech, but murder is our means. Here we seek to open the minds of men, but we require obedience to a master and set of rules. 3. Here we seek to reveal the danger of blind faith, yet we are practitioners ourselves. I have no satisfactory answer to those charges, only possibilities. Do we bend the rules in service to a greater good? And if we do, what does it say of us? That we are liars, that we are frauds, that we are weak. Every moment is spent wrestling with those contradictions, and in spite of all the years I have had to reflect, still I can find no suitable answer, and I fear that one may not exist. Nothing is true, everything is permitted. Does our creed provide the answer then? That one way be two things opposite in every way simultaneously, and why not? Am I not proof we of noble intentions possessed of barbaric means, we who celebrate the sanctity of life and then promptly take it from those who redeem our enemies? Okay. Yeah, it's getting interesting. I want to read it all. Okay, who were the ones that came before brought them here? How long ago? Centuries, millennia, longer still? So little remains of them. What drove them out? What of those artifacts? A messenger in a bottle, two left behind to aid and guide us, or do we fight for control over the refuse, giving divide, purpose, and meaning to little more than this guarded toy? What about this one? Page 6. Okay, this is a big one. Robert the Sabbath may be dead, but his brotherhood survives, though less conspicuous in appearance. I fear they remain a threat, where once they proudly vacant the streets, making for easier targets. Now they retreat into the shadows. It grows difficult to track them. What weakened things will they wave in the darkness? Our work will be all the more complicated for it. Already there are rumors of a movement on Creepers. I will have to investigate. It's made me realize that our tactics too must change. It means an end to our fortunes, to our penchant for spectacular displays of public associations. We must weave our waves quietly, and we must do so differently than we have in the past. Though I ask my brothers now to abandon the rituals, I do not ask that they abandon the creed. This is what makes us assassins, not the removal of a finger, not a false promise of paradise, not the prohibitions on poisons. Our duty is to the people, not to custom. If we must sneak, we shall sneak. If we must use poisons, we shall use poison. If our blades can be used without removing fingers, we shall not they be taken. We will, and we shall not manipulate our initiatives with lies and parlor tricks. We shall speak plenty and honestly. We shall be made anew. Alright. 7 page. Oh, more reading. Okay. Alright, I wanted this story. I had thought Adela would be the one to lead me to rest, that I might lay down my plate and live as a normal man. But now I know such dreams are best left to sleep. Her face, I tried to vanquish it from my mind, and as I remembered the days and nights during which I chased her Templar captors across the sea, I almost got to them in time, almost if I had only been faster. Instead, I held her lifeless body in my arms, saw the terror reflected in her fixed, unblinking eyes. I hurted each man one by one until all responsible were gone from the world, but there was no joy in this, no satisfaction or release. Their deaths not being her back did not heal my wounds. After that, I was certain I would never again feel for a woman as I had for her. Oh, so someone killed her, and the first assassin, he had his revenge. Anyway, but he was still empty and didn't love anyone else. I am fortunate to have been wrong. Okay. What about this one? Why do not do our instance instead on violence? I have studied the interactions between different species. The inherent desire to survive seems to demand the deaths of the mothers. Why can they not stand hand in hand? So many believe the world was created by the hand of a divine power, but I see only the design of a madman bent on celebrating distraction and desperations. Our origins seem to chaotic, unintended purpose, and being instilled solely by the passage of time, imposed at first by nature and later man. Okay, now, alright, there's more reading here. Okay. Over time, any sentence uttered long and loud enough become fixed, it become a true. Provide of course you can last the disband and silence your opponents, but should you succeed and remove all challengers, then what remains is by default now true. Is it true in some objective sense? No, but how does one ever achieve an objective point of view? The answer is you don't. It is literally psychologically impossible. There are too many variables, so too many fields and formulas to consider. We can try, of course. We can inch closer, and closer to a revolution, but we will never reach it, not even. And so I have realized that so long as the Templars exist, they will attempt to bend reality to their will. They recognize there is no such thing as absolute truth, or if there is, we are honest hopelessly under-equipped to recognize it, and so in its place they seek to create their own explanation. It is the guiding principles of their so-called so-named New World Order to reshape existence in their own image, and it is not about artifacts, not about men. Those are merely tools. It is about concepts, clever of them. For how does one wage a war against a concept? It is the perfect weapon. It lacks a psychological form, yet can alter the world around us in numerous, often violent ways. You cannot kill a creed, even if you kill all of its adherents, destroy all of its writings. Those are repeats at best. Someone someday will rediscover it, reinvent it. I believe that even we, the assassins, have simply rediscovered an order that predated the old man himself. Finally, no reading. Okay. More Aris do Dinoyos Horos Krisha Mitra Jews. Similar stories colored their lives too similar. I think divided by right persecutions, disciples, miraculous acts, resurrections. How is it possible? Perhaps it isn't merely a single story told over the age, followed at then changed to fit the times, evolving as our tools and language do. Is this a tale born of fact or fictions? A bit of both. Could those figures be the same person, their life extended and transformed by a piece of Eden? El Mualim spoke of Jesus as a real person or a mortal who had mastered the arts of manipulations, but what if he was wrong? If those men are real, and if they had walked among us as many times before, does it mean they'll come again? Perhaps they are here now. So many questions, and every day even more. Okay, I'm almost there. Rex, oh, finally. The hidden blade has been a constant complaints of all over the years. Sub would even say it defines us. And they would not be entirely wrong. Many of our successions would not have been possible without it. Still, the device has begun to show its age, and so I have been researching improvement beyond ending the end to remove ending the need to remove one's finger to wield it. The first is the addition of a metal plant that can be used to deflect incoming blows. The other assassins believe it is forged of new metal and created me with the discovery of the formula included on his page. It is better that they not know the truth. I have also worked with Malek to describe new methods of associations from one high, from edges and from hidden places. Music movements, but critical, noiseless. The third and final improvement is the most simple, the provisions of a second blade. I am indications in every way to the first sounds. Should assassins even find himself tasked with dispatching two targets, he needs only He needs only time his strike in such a way that he might reach both at the same time. Those blades will be limited in number since the metal with which we forge them remains difficult to obtain. I will need to rethink carefully about who shall be allowed to carry two. Cool. So this is how. Yep, that was a good move. Man seeks dominations over all the AliHii incurs. I suppose it is a natural tendency for us to aspire towards mastery of our surroundings, but this should not include our other man's being. Everyone, every day, more and more are pressed into service by deceptions or by force. Others, though not so firmly imprisoned, are made to feel as if their lives are worthless. I have seen the ways in which men persecute women, heard the cruel words hurled at those who came here from other lands, which registered as those who believe or act differently are made to suffer. We discuss such things often, watching as we do from the spires of my massive. What can be done to stop this, to encourage tolerance and equality? Sometimes we speak of educations, believing that knowledge will free us from immortality, but as I walk the street and see slaves sent off to auctions, my heart grows cold when I see the husbands grow abuses the stones of his wife, insisting she exist only to serve him. My fist inches, and when I see children torn from their parents so that another man might profit, sent off to suffer beneath the desert sun and die. One those days I do not think that dialogues will make a difference. On those days I can think only of how the perpetrators needs to die. Ah, finally. That was the time. The apple is more than a catalog of that which precedes us. Within its twisting sparkles interest, I have a conscious glimpse of what will be. Such a thing should not be possible. Perhaps it isn't. Maybe it is simply a suggestion. How to know? How to be sure? I contemplate the consequences of those visions. Are they imagines of things to come, or simply to the potential or what might be? Can we influence the outcomes? Dare we try? And in so doing, do we merely ensure that which we have seen? I am torn as always between action and inaction, so unclear as to which, if either will make a difference. Am I even meant to make a difference? Shall still I keep this journal? Is that not an attempt to change or perhaps guarantee what I have seen? Okay. Of all those things I have seen, none troubles me more than the image of the flames. Thrillers who told they seems to pierce the heavens, the ground trembled, and shuddered. The mountains split and cracked. Great metal towards sprintered there in inert Styrian about the ground, and everywhere there was screaming, a chaos so troubled that even now I feel it's still. What is this madness I have seen? Is it them? I wonder. Those who came before. Is this where they went into the fire, into the dust? Perhaps this destructive power is what the Templars seeks, that they might hold it over us and command devotion. So what hope would we have then if they held such darkness in their hands? What that they could murder the world? That's horrifying. Almost there. We are obligated to her to be silent, to shape this course of history in secret, but some of our brothers and sisters disagree. They give angry, insisting it is a mistake to shoot ourselves. They say it shows our work, but they do not understand the risk to expose ourselves. So now would be too dangerous. I fear we would be branded a madman and attacked, so it grows, so it always has. If there is one thing I know for certain, it is that men do not learn by being told. Insist they must be shown. They must make the connections themselves. If I say into a man, be kind, be tolerant, be of an open mind, those words will wither and die long before they are affected a change. It would be a waste, and so we must maintain our course. Legend speaks of a golden lens. Could the two be related? I have further refined the metal process, allowing for the production of a set of armor the likes of which the world has never seen. Is it possessed of great strength, yet so light as to allow complete freedom? I alternate between wonder and fear. Here we have crafted something that will surely change the face of warfare, making those who wear it nigh invincible. Perhaps it was a mistake to create those pieces. I think it best to erase the formula. So what if it were to fall into the hands of our enemies? The risk is too great. I have studied the ancient pagan faiths that came before this, more recent obsessions with a single divine creator. They seem to have focused more on the fundamental forces to play in the world around us and less on the arbitrary moral rules. The sun rises in the morning and sets in the evening. The tips eats and flow grows, withers, dies, and then in time emerges from the ground once more. The air turns warm, then cools, and back again. Some hidden energy gives us a feet to the ground and pulled us back when we attempt to leave it. Each of those movements were represented for before by a god or goddess, each force given face but incognized as something distinct and powerful. This is not to say that there were not connections between those forces. A pantheon of individual spirit of rules in individual in invisible hands guiding the progress of the world around us. And so here there was Categorize, study, explain, and understand the way things work, even if it was flawed, but no more. Now we are asked to subscribe to a fair, more simplified explanation. How naive to believe there might be a single answer to every question, every mystery that where exists a lone divine light which rules over all. This it is a light that brings truth and love. I say it is a light that binds us and forces us to stumble about in ignorance. I long for the day when men will turn away from invisible monsters and once more embrace a more rational view of the world. But those new religions are so convenient and promise such a terrible punishment should one reject them. I worry that fear shall keep us stuck to what is surely the greatest lie ever told. One may cultivate extract from various plants found throughout the region, so more exotic species can sometimes be obtained from traders and travelers, but their properties are less documented and require further examination. Traditional alchemical emplacement can be used to distill the poison. Care should be used as certain poisons can be absorbed through exposed skin. Many are those who have lost their lives to carelessness. One's blade should be hollowed according to the specification listed herein. Deviations may create fractures within the metals, causing the blade to weaken and possibly break. What to make of this map? It appears to constant the entire world, not flat as they claim, but round as a ball like the apple. But how is such a thing even possible? Strangers still are the lands it shows great reaches of the unknown, the unexplored. So many places yet to discover. Are they like us? And if not different, how? I should like to know the answer. So in time, I will have the chance to travel to craft a course and make my way to those distant lands. Okay. Some days I miss my family, or at least two of them. I never knew my parents well, despite them both having lived within those walls. It was our ways. Perhaps they were sad, though they showed no sign. It was not allowed for my part. So much of my young youth was spent in training. There was little time left to reflect upon the separations, and so when they were finally lost to me, it seems no difference than the passing of two strangers. Al Mualim been as my father, and his was a weak as and dishonest love. Though at that time it seemed enough better. Even also I thought someday I will have a child. Such is the way of our order, and I will not make the same mistake. not any who call themselves an assassin. We shall be allowed to love our children and in turn to be loved. Al-Mualim believed that such attachment would weaken us, causes us to falter when our lives were on the line. But if we truly fight for what is just as love, not make us sacrifice simpler, knowing that we do so for their gain. Okay. Oh, finally another picture. I have the answer now. I know the truth. I shall not touch the wicked thing again. Best that no one do one or ever. I have tried it at least to destroy it, but it will neither bend nor break nor melt. Or the irony. I am certain if I asked the apple would tell me what need to be done, but even these promises is insufficient. Always in hold one more gift to give. I must refrain, so it shall be shielded. We will take it to the island once there's now ours. There is a treasury there, hidden well, and it shall have to Sophia's Sophie's risky to separate myself from the artifact that others may discover it. Riskier still to keep it close. In time, I will be tempted. I am weak. We all are. Who wouldn't be? Oh, the things I have seen. The tale is here inside the desk, not between the lines, but between them. There only our eyes might peer. Go and see it for yourself, that you might succeed where I and the others have failed. Time marches on, bringing with it new discoveries and developments, and so at least one day the doorway might be opened and the message delivered that they will have their prophet. We are growing larger. More make their way to our fortress every day. Men and women, young and old, from different lands of different faiths, each tells a similar story, or having discovered the first part of our creed, that nothing is true too often, although the revolution undoes them. They lose their morality, certainty, security. Many are driven mad. We must guide them, help them to heal. Their minds must not be filled with more fairy tales, but with knowledge instead. Let them have answer, and let those answers be difficult and complex. Such is life. Okay, last three pages. Success. We have found a way to alter the structure of the hidden blade so that it can be used to launch a small projectiles. It is capable to grievous damage even from great distance. I confess the means by which I came about the discovery was risky to say the least, but I have found that in small doses and with a focused mind, apple can be used without ill effect. Also, I hope the knowledge of project lines combined is not new to us, having been certain among our eastern neighbors. but their weapons were much larger and insufficient for our needs. I have now found a way to miniaturize their design, embedding their friendly weapon into a form that can be worn on the waist. We have all refined the formula for combustible powder such that common ingredients might be used. This is a dangerous but of knowledge, and it is best shared with only our closest allies. A dark tide rises to the east, an army of such size and power that all the land is made quick with worry. Their leader is a man named Temujin, who had adopted the title Genghis Khan. He swept across the lands, conquering and subsuming all who stand in his way. Whatever his motives, he must be slaughtered. Were I younger, I might attempt to undertake his work in secret, as I suspect the presence of a piece of Eden, but those days are years gone. Now the mantle must be busted. It is time she and I spoke with our sons, so we will travel there together, that they may be tasted, and that this greed might be stopped. The last page. Oh, finally. Soon I shall pass from this world. It is my time. All the hours of the day are now colored by the thoughts and fears born of the realization. I know that the elements of my body will return to the earth. But what of my consciousness, my identity, that is to say, what of me? I suspect it will end, that there is no next world, no return to this one. It will simply be done forever. Our lives are so brief and unimportant. The cosmos carries nothing for us. For what we have done, had we wrought evil instead of good, had I chose to abuse the apple instead of seal it away, none of it would have mattered. There is no counting, no reckoning, no final judgment. There is simply silence and darkness, utter and absolute. And so I have begun to wonder, might there not be a way to stop, or at least delay, that embrace? Surely the ones who came before were not so flint and fables as we, but I have sworn to be done with the artifact, to not to gaze into its core. Still, faced as I am with the prospect of my end, what harm is there in one last look? Okay. Alright, I have read it all. Now what? I guess I have to use the eagle vision now.